First of all, about the major country diplomacy idea, with Chinese characteristics idea, it's been 10 years since it's been launched, actually. So how would you assess major milestones ever since?
Well, talking about the milestones, I believe the first important time is when President Xi Jinping proposed the idea of a community of shared future for mankind. It reflects China's understanding about the world. From a major power or major country's perspective, the international order means that the zero-sum game is not it does not work. So China would like to reach out to the other countries to build for a shared future. It was a very clear signal for China's major power diplomacy and, of course, with Chinese characteristics. And after that, President Xi Jinping talked about the idea with individual countries and also on multilateral platforms. So it was a signal set from China that China would like to reduce tensions and to achieve common understanding and to seek opportunities of cooperation with the other countries. And the second milestone, I believe, is President Xi Jinping proposed the idea of Silk Road economic belt in Kazakhstan. It was the starting point for the Belt and Road Initiative. China believes that as a major country with Chinese characteristics, the characteristics means that countries should provide public goods to the other countries. So the BRI is, I believe, the first major public goods provided by China in the past 10 years. So it is a platform for the countries to work with each other. It is not for China's strategic goals to strengthen China's military power or to achieve more influence in the region. It is a platform China believes that a lot of countries can benefit from the process of cooperation.
Right.
China seeks to bring countries together to meet challenges and sort of provide what's often called the sort of win-win solution between the two of them. So what exactly is China looking to provide in the face of global uncertainties, political uncertainties that there are around the world? What are the challenges there as well?
Well, talking about the challenges, of course, as a major power, the country has to define the position of its own role in the regional security as well as the global security. And China is quite clear that for most of the countries in the world, the countries seek peace instead of conflicts. So it is the foundation for China's diplomacy. And China is very confident that the country can work with the others to achieve the common understanding. And at the same time, China believes that the conflicts, including some hotspots in the region, are quite difficult and complicated to resolve. So China believes that the political approach is quite important. If you look into China's major power diplomacy, China always emphasized the importance of political approach, try to bring the related parties back to the negotiation table. Wars or conflicts will not be the right solution for the security issues. That is the consistent principles and ideas in China's policies. So as for the Ukraine crisis, as well as the conflicts in Middle East, China always believed that it's a time to ceasefire, to lower the tension and try to find some way to talk to each other.
Right, and President Xi Jinping actually made a very successful state visit to both Peru and Brazil just a few days ago, and he stressed again his vision of a China-Latin America community with a shared future. So how do you see this vision and its implementation in terms of developing bilateral ties between China and Latin America?
Well, talking about China and Latin America, geographically, China is far away from Latin America, so that is why we say from China to Peru, you travel around the world. But President Xi's visit sent out two important signals. As for the community of shared future for mankind, the community, the idea is welcomed by the regional countries like China and Brazil, agreed to talk to build a Belt and Road Initiative. It is a quite clear signal that talking about public goods, the platforms for cooperation, China's idea accepted and worked with the other countries. And from China's cooperation with Peru, from China to Peru is a long distance, but the two countries upgraded their free trade agreement. So it was a new starting point for the two countries to work on trade, especially for the digital economy and e-commerce, a lot of potential for cooperation. So from China, Latin America, a community of shared future. So it was a signal from the developing countries that they can look into details of cooperation and find opportunities.
Right.
Well, at this year's G20 summit, the Chinese president outlined the country's 8 actions for global development. Now, this echoes China's major country diplomacy with Chinese characteristics. I've got a list here, includes supporting development in Africa, practical cooperation for the benefit of the global south as well. That's an important part of it. How do you interpret China's foreign policy with a global vision?
Well, from a global vision, China looks into the interests of the developing countries. China is a member of Global South, so China tries to view the development of the world from the Global South. It's quite clear that the international structure, the regime has been changing, and the trend means that the developing countries will have more weight in the international platform. So China would like to work with other developing countries, with the members of Global South to push forward the progress. And China believes that initiatives are quite important. So talking about China's relationship with Global South, we already mentioned Belt and Road Initiative, and already 3 important initiatives proposed by Xi Jinping. So the countries can talk to each other about development, about regional security issues, as well as culture or people-to-people exchange. So a lot of topics on the table. And at the same time, China believes that the Global South, the development means that the international order should be changed. So for the developing countries, they're facing a lot of difficulties. Like e-commerce, it is opportunity as well as challenges for some developing countries. So if some country push forward unilateralism, protectionism, it will be difficult or obstacles for developing countries. So China would like to work with the group to move forward, but it does not mean that the bloc confrontation will come forward. It is inclusiveness instead of exclusiveness.